Definitely, justice is eternal, as we find that every state system has been made by the people for their own sake, and understandably, it is the handiwork of the civilized people who, at first time, thought that there should be the state to regulate the affairs of men and women in the society and should be the great moralizer, has been restrained from the theocrats or the theological scientists from ancient times up to the now. Situation is very much not different if we see in definition of the state. We find in ancient time that Hammurabi, the king of Babylonia, who took the leges or the law from the sun god and codified the law, and the stone plaques are found in archaeological evidences showing Hammurabi to getting justice or the law of the land from the god. But it was the certain mindset of those people who were highly advanced those days and who framed the laws or the traditions into codified form. And when it did first begin, it cannot be said rightly, but the available archaeological sources or the paintings, it is clear that it started to take shape at the time of Assyrian or the Mesopotamian civilization. Even in every civilization, there was the mark of state, and without the state, there was no civilization. It may be the form different, and definitely a kind of understandably a greater and greater emphasis on the distribution of justice by the wings of the state. But if we study more and more the uh, theological scriptures and other sources of history, we find that the justice of humanity or the justice which was dwelt upon was maintained by the state from the above. As in Bhagavad Gita, we find when Lord Krishna says, Imam Vivasvate Yogam Proktavahanam Abhyam Vivasvamanave Praha Munirichvakve Abravit Evam Parampara Praptam Imam Rajasyo Vidu Sa Kalaneha Mata Yogo Nasta Parantapa. It does mean that the first inculcation of the law was inculcation of law or yoga was given to the sun god by Lord Krishna. Imam Vivasvate Yogam Proktavanam, and after haranguing before the sun god, the greater god himself went into limbo in oblivion, and from that time, from sun god to Ichwaku and then to tradition, it continued. But due to tradition, it became faint, as maintained in the Bhagavad Gita. So we find that the apotheosized form of jurisprudence which we find in the scriptures in ancient civilizations, but it is more or less based upon the common mood or common codification of laws, as we find the leges or law or fixed Rita or Satya in the Vedas. So a state is complete distributing wing of justice, but not the creator of justice. It may be a kind of a tool to administrate justice or what rights should be done to the citizenry. And as the conditions of the state varied from time to time, and now we are living in international political system in which there is no state sovereignty is sacrosanct, while we are having United Nations and several international organizations, and especially in economic forum, the globalization has created a great kind of interdependence, and definitely the system of justice remained the same to redress the grievances. So the more and more you study, the more and more you will find that the state has always been there, and the main aim of the state to maintain justice, and those persons who were justified are highly respected in historical annals in a political circle. And the system of the state which has grown up like democracy, in which the father of modern democracy, John Stuart Mill, in his book on liberty, distinctly writes that if one man against the whole mankind are ranged against each other, the whole mankind won't be justified in silencing the voice of one man solely on basis of number. While if justification on number or the power tends by the number justified in silencing the voice of one person, then one person will also be justified in silencing the whole mankind. If he attains power and any kind of power, that person will be justified. So basically he is talking about the judicial system that is sacrosanct, unalterable, that cannot be changed. Any state cannot frame any law which violates the right or the basic rights or fundamental rights of humanity. It may be that it may be applicable to the citizen and even to the non-citizen or any person. Like no state can legally order genocide or killing of the people who are not the citizen of the state but living and residing in the periphery of the state. And so the basic rights which are accrued to the human beings as maintained by the universal law or the universal sense of jurisprudence or in the minds of the people or the vanguard of the civilization, that some rights are sacrosanct which are to be maintained in form of non-alterable and cannot be altered. So the state is the first rank flag bearer of justice, and whenever the justice is sacrosanct, the state remains strong. We find in historic annals several civilizations came and ended away, several empires came and died down. So basically the rigging injustice in a kind of non-delivery system is completely mortified the whole populace and created anti-state feeling. And definitely in political science it is clear that the state which maintains justice, which maintains the basic rights of the citizenry, even the basic rights of humanity, can be very much strong and able to counter any threat which can emanate from any side. So definitely there is great importance of justice in maintenance of civilization, in maintenance of the state, and maintenance of all types of orders. So the importance of judicial system in the state is like the life in the body of man. So we can definitely harangue on it. On several occasions I have emphasized that without justice or without the system of justice, the state cannot exist. And definitely it is again reiterated that without the judicial system, a strong judicial system or the maintenance of the basic rights, unalterable rights of humanity, be it citizen, not citizen or anybody else, as the flag bearer of morality in which the whole idea of ethics are also included, and the definite interdependence of ethics, morality, value system, and justice and judicial system are lifeline of the state. And so, my friend, I want to tell before you that whenever the justice and system of justice remains strong, the state also remains strong. When it falls or falls down, the state becomes a kind of a nanny state or weak one, and definitely the end is seen end is seen very near. And to maintain the state, it is to maintain the justice and the system of equally system of great delivery of justice by the wings of the state. And so it is very much important in political science. The students of political science who were perusing the kind of a state, the nature of a state, might have been aware about the judicial system or the system of justice and the concept of justice. In all religions, if we study in deep, we find that concept is one based on the Rita or Satya or truth. There is none variability of the concept of justice, like dacoity or chori is criminal offense, even in Vedic theology, in modern state, in Christian theology, in Islam, in everywhere. So we find that there is unity of sensibility or thinking of the people. So the folks who maintain the leges and laws are fixed and so-called Rita or Satya in Vedas. So we have to ponder over it. We have to understand the niceties of it. Thank you for watching me. If you want to suggest, please suggest anything. I will be thankful to you for your grand cooperation in this regard. Thank you. Namaskar.